What is up, guys? It's Troy at the Full Setup, back with another video for you, and I'm really struggling to get everything in shot for today's video. And today's video, we're going to look, we're going to be looking at the Deepcool Assassin 3. This is the Challenger. This is the cooler they say is better than the legendary Noctua NH-D15. Now, in my last video, I basically just did an unboxing video, just as in comparison. And I basically said in that video, was saying, look, if your PC's under your desk, if you don't care what it looks like, if you just want the best performance cooling, you know, you want to buy a brand that you know has been the cooler to go for almost half a decade, then the Noctua does win it. The Deepcool, a little bit cheaper. It's going to be about £5 or £10 cheaper, but like I said, you've got all the styling here. You've got the black fans, you know, the sort of covers going over the top as well. And if you actually bought all those separately for the Noctua cooler, it would take it over £100 basically. I think it was, well, no, it's like twice the price. It was almost £150. Now, one thing I totally forgot about to mention in that video, and someone brought this to my attention on my photos of Instagram, sort of doing a bit of a comparison of both of these, is that this cooler is coming out in black. I did forget. I do remember seeing it earlier in the year. Was it CES? That this is getting an update. So this cooler is going to be coming out in all black, and it's going to have an extra heat pipe. So we may have to revisit the testing, but I still stand by what I say. If you were going to buy the cooler right now, I have to base everything on the video as I make it. This is supposed to come out Q4, so it is very close, but it's not coming out next week. This cooler is. So I'm making this based on that, okay? Based on that. But anyway, in this video today, what I really wanted to do was just do an install video. So we've got some tool RAM plugged into the motherboard here. We're going to see if it can clear tool RAM, which I don't think either of them will. Haven't actually got any low profile RAM. Well, I do have some, which I'm hoping is going to clear it. I've got some my RGB RAMs a little bit more low profile than this T-Force. I actually need to check today because I might have to order some low profile RAM. But I wanted to just basically do an install. Now, you may see in the title description, I haven't decided what I'm going to give the video description yet, that I'm saying Intel and AM4. I'm only actually showing you Intel today, and that is because for both Intel and AM4 on the Assassin 3, you have to use this backplate, so it's the same install. It's the same install. I'll show you the AM4 parts for anyone that's interested. This one screws directly into the back of an AM4 motherboard. I was going to install them both on an AM4 and Intel, but I thought, you know what? We'll just do it on the board that both of them have to use their included backplate, because, you know, I just wanted to know what's the difference. Is one harder than the other? Are they difficult to do? Because these are very, very big coolers. So I would always recommend, probably for a cooler this size, that you install it outside of a case. The thing is, these will fit in these sort of larger mid-towers. They still look sort of mid-tower in height, but is a little bit wider, maybe with a 140mm fan inside. But that's going to be a struggle putting that in there. You're going to find it quite tight. In huge full tower systems, you could probably install it, you know, or swap it out just to do the pace. But yeah, first time, I reckon install it on the deck. So yeah, enough of the waffle. What are we? 3 minutes? 3 minutes into the video? You're still waffling, Troy? Let's take a closer look. I'm just going to briefly show you what's in the boxes. You know, watch the unboxing video. That video is probably going to go live the same day as this video because Deepcool wanted me to wait a little bit longer. But I really like the presentation of the Noctua, and I like that they all had separate little instruction booklets, even if that's bad for the environment. Deepcool as well. Comes with loads of stuff, some cool little extras that were included. Was a paste rubbing card, which I'm not going to use. Grease cleanser, which is probably good if you've got a dirty old chip. Got some cool little... That's gone missing. Where's it gone? Where's my cool as hef Deepcools? There was a really cool Deepcool badge and it's gone missing. I'm gutted. Both come with their own tubes of paste. Focus! But I'm going to use Arctic MX4. But we're going to use this paste for today just because it saves us out a little bit on the video. So both essentially have these brackets. The brackets that... Here we go. So we're going to start from the beginning. Focus. So Noctua is slightly ahead at the moment because theirs is already sort of built. Yeah. I like that. I like that they're fixed in. That's really cool. Now for Deepcool, it's pretty easy. So you get this little bag labelled Intel and AMD. Same stuff. And then on here, you probably can't see it, it says 115X and 1366. So you essentially just pop these little bad boys in here. And obviously for the other one, it will be, that says AM3 and AM4. We're not going to keep hunting for the old focus. So there we go. Just put the 4 push pins in. Shall we start with looking at, let's do the Noctua first. So essentially you would pop this behind the board, and then you can lie it down flat. Now the one thing I like about these is, so then all you do with Noctua is you just put these 4 little bits on. I'm just going to show this one a bit quicker. I want to just look at RAM clearance and stuff, but this is very easy. I think the hard thing is going to be fixing it down because it's huge. Just put those on top, and you take these 2 wing brackets. There you go. This can actually mount either way. Take those little brackets. Now I always, with these, I don't screw tighten these. I always say with these bolts, finger tight enough. Just give it a good old finger. And the one thing as well, when you are installing this outside of a case, I bang on about this in every single one of my cooler videos, is I don't fully tighten the cooler up. Generally, I won't give it. What you'll find is certain coolers, they'll make your board just bend a little bit, and it will freak you out, and you think you've broke everything. It's fine. But what I'll end up doing is actually fixing it into my case. Then I just sort of give it that final little turn. And I find that is what just, yeah, so it's not putting so much pressure on it, because you think you're putting a lot of pressure in here, and that's what it sort of does. You can't see it because I've got you zoomed in, but it sort of just like bends you in a little bit. Okay, so now we're just going to put on a little dollop of paste. Now, I never use about that much for Intel, just a little, like I say, half a pea sized. For AMD, I find you need a little bit more. I normally do that and then just like a tiny little one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of around it. AMD dies are a little bit bigger, but I feel like both of them come with enough paste that you should be able to do it. So I just want to hold this into position now and see where we're at with our RAM. And they give you this long included tool. Just going to fix this on just a little bit. That's all I want to do, is I just want to screw it on so it's not going to fall off the motherboard. And then we can have a little look at RAM clearance and put the front fan on and see where we're at, because I'm using Team Dark Pro memory. And this is where you might find that you look at these specs and you can just about fit them in a mid tower case. And I've sized this up and it will just about fit in my Fantex case, but it won't. I'm thinking it won't with the RAM. So let's have a little look. So as you can see there is quite a bit of clearance over the memory. What about when we put a fan on? I'm just going to do the Noctua quickly, really, because it should be Deepcool sort of showcase. That's why I'm not fully tightened it up. So yeah, quite easy to do. I did say in my previous video they need to be at least an 8 for me for installing, because I want to take this apart. You know, I take my PCs apart. I'm a little bit different. Now what we need to do is get that, as you can see that there, that's as close to our memory as we can get. So the fan is sticking up quite a bit with tool memory. Should we? What I'm going to do is, so what I want to do is measure how high the fan is coming up off the cooler with tool memory. 25 mil. Now obviously with a cooler like this, I think you sort of know that. I think you know you're going to have to use low profile memory. But I just thought, seeing as I've only got tool standing RAM, let's just, for this test anyway, let's just see the difference. 25 mil over as well. Now I will be testing with my what is it? I've got a little RGB kit, which it's not as high, it doesn't stand as tall as this, so we'll have a little look. But yeah, 25 mil for the Noctua. How was it to install? The fans go on really easy, really easy. I says that as I'm trying to pull it off. Obviously I'm going around the camera and stuff like that, but one thing I've always, you know, I complain about is fan grips and stuff. You know, take your time. Yeah, very easy to install. I'm going to give it an 8. Now, do you know what? I am giving it an 8 because I don't like this thing. I feel if you're going all the way tight. I don't like this screwdriver. And you may be thinking, well, what's a 10, Troy? Because that went on real easy. A 10 is a liquid cooler that has a mount that's already fixed. You don't have to hold on the back. So just a mount that just sits there, like something like the Deepcool Captain. Didn't want to just shout Deepcool out there. Corsair as well, a lot of their coolers. And then all you have to do is unscrew 4 thumb screws, and you can change your paste. You can do all of that stuff. Now, obviously, the paste isn't going to be fully covered over there because we didn't screw it right down. But that is, to me, is a 10 of a cooler. This is an 8, and an 8 is very good. For me, 8 is like the best you can get doing air coolers. Okay? So like a lot of the Fantex coolers and Cryorid coolers, most of those 8s. Real easy to install. This, an 8. Okay? Very easy to install. Only thing I could pick out about is I don't like the screwdriver. I do love that these little bits are already fixed in for you, because that just saves you a step. So should we have a look at the Assassin 3 then? Okay, so there was an extra step, but I'm not going to knock them down on that because they've got something that they win on. Okay, so the Noctua was better here. Same thing again. Oh, one's fallen out. Where's it gone? Oh no. So it's the same sort of thing again, really. Got these tiny little thumb screws. Just gonna find hard to get a focus on here. Let's have a look. So yeah, you got these tiny little thumb screws. So you've got this like a piece of like a black sort of plastic to stop you damaging your motherboard. Again, you just want to give it a good finger. All you need to do is finger it. Finger it real good. One thing I do generally always do though is just alternate corners, because it sort of like spreads the pressure. I've always found that when you're doing like 4 screws, just to alternate it. So that would be what I'd be like with say installing like a liquid cooler. It's very similar. This is pretty much the same kit as they do with their liquid cooler. Hence why I didn't even need to read the instructions for this one. Now there's 2 different types of plates you'd have here. So this is what you'd be doing for AMD. You'd be putting this one on, and as you can see here, it's got an arrow that points in, which points into the CPU, which is good. Because that's one thing I think I generally always do. I sort of stop the video for a second. I'm like, which way does it go again? Because the holes are a little bit off center. Same again on the Intel one, see? That one points in towards the CPU. So we just line that one over the top. Line that one over the top. Not going to put any paste on. It didn't quite fix the screw on the top, which is why I reckon all the paste is down over there. And I think we'll do like a very similar thing, won't we? We'll just measure it. So what was it, 25mm? 25mm. So here's why you read the instructions. These are the wrong way. Wrong way. This is the great thing about finger tightening stuff. Comes off real easy, no screwdriver needed. Now you could decide to give it a little tighten if you want with a screwdriver. I've never noticed a difference in thermal performance, whether I've just used my hands or not. But yeah, you just, again, you only turn the screwdriver, I always say, once it bites, it's tight. Sort of my cheesy YouTube chat up line. So the Noctua was a little bit quicker at getting to this, right? Do you like that bracket? Not to say this is a bad bracket. Now everything's screwed down. What I hate is when you have to hold a bracket in place whilst putting the cooler on. There's nothing worse than that. I don't know who does that from a design standpoint. This is where the Deepcool becomes a little bit more even. Proper screwdriver. Says Game Storm on it. Fair play. Gaming screwdriver. Much easier to use. The tip on this was a lot easier to find the screws as well. Now I found it a bit difficult to get the second one behind me. Obviously, you know, this is going to be easier because you haven't got a camera in the way, but I just want to see, is it easier for me to find the hole? No, it bloody isn't. I do need to be... Sort of not rocking around here. So have a look at the clearance. So plenty of clearance there. Now this is where you generally have your memory if you're in dual channel setup. It's also a good test as well. As you can see, there's going to be plenty of room for the first memory slot that there was on the other cooler as well, and for your third slot as well if you go for two lots of memory. Let's have a look then. Let's do this fan first. Yeah, these fans are easy. I don't know if it's just because they're 140s. I don't know if it's just because they're 140s, but it feels a hell of a lot easier than clipping on 120 fans. Now these clips have come off. That's why I'm taking a second. So the Noctua ones do not come off. They're like real sturdy. Like you can take them off, but they're real sturdy. So same again. Let's get this cable out of the way. But you would normally have the cable on the bottom. Let's get as close as we can to that memory. This is neither of the cooler company's fault. You should be using low profile memory, but just wanted to do a little test. Now this is going to be quite hard to measure. I measured off the top of the metal. Let's have a look. See that there? Can I get it in? That fan will go lower. That was touching it. 25 mil. 25 mil. So they both poke up about 25 mil. That's using Team Dark Pro, which is very high sort of yeah, it's quite tall memory. I don't think there's much taller memory sticks out there than it. So first two slots for both of them is fine, but obviously you're going to want to run dual channel, so you need to be using slot 2 and slot 4. So you do want low profile memory with this, because otherwise it just looks a little bit ridiculous. Now how was that to install? 7.5. It was just behind. I'm going to give it to Noctua in this one. Noctua wins just a little bit more. I took the fan off and the little thing popped out. They do not pop out on this, and I've done quite a few play arounds. Look, there we go. Literally it's just popped off with my hand. But I said it needs to be at least an 8, but I've got no issues having this in my arsenal. I would happily have this in a rig and swap it out all the time. Preferred the this little back plate, but the back plate on the Deepcool is perfectly fine. Screwdriver is better. I just think it's because those little things popped off the fans. That's just something that does my head in. And if you were installing this in the case and they drop down, there is no bigger stress. There is nothing worse. And it's a weird thing really, because you might be thinking, I've never had a problem installing the cooler. I'm telling you now, if we get someone come over to the Discord, we've helped plan a build, or they've been, you know, for ages going, hey, I'm getting this build, it's all here. If they do come back to us with something they really struggled with, if there's something that they really, you know, struggle with, it's one thing I've noticed is always the cooler. They're always stressing about installing the cooler. They get everything else all right. Okay, the cabling looks crap, but first build, you know what your first build was like. Your cables were crap. Don't say it wasn't. Just like your first shag was crap, all right? Don't say it wasn't. First, cables are crap as well. So where was I? Yeah. Just because those came off, if I was in a case like that, especially if I had the camera in front of me, which most of you wouldn't have, I would be screwing. But still, 7.5, very good. I mean, it's like a 7.9. Do you know what I mean? It is. I said it had to be at least an 8 for me to use it. All right, and it passes even though it's not an 8, because the Noctua is an 8. The Noctua is an 8.5, and this is an 8. Okay, let's just call it that. Should we call it that? Because, you know, I'm sort of contradicting myself. This is an 8. The Noctua is an 8.5. But what it really comes down to is the cooling. That's going to be the next video. So I need to put this in a rig. We need to get some lower profile memory so I can use proper dual channel. And yeah, thanks for watching.